All right, boys and girls, let's begin our morning today with our word study and practice taking our notes in our writing notebooks. For today's word study, we're going to be focusing on our words that have that ow sound. And to make that ow sound, notice how some words, the letters O and U, make the sound ow. But the ow sound can also be spelled with O-W. The O-U contains two sounds, and these sounds are examples of diphthongs. Some examples include the word house, outburst, and towel. As you write these examples in your notebook, I want you to underline the letters that create that ow sound. Let's look at the middle column. The aw sound can be spelled either A-U, A-W, or A followed by a consonant. The ah sound contains just one sound, even when it's spelled with two letters, such as A-W. Let's look at some examples. The first word is taunt. The second word is awful. And the last word is malt. What I want for you to do is I want you to write the words into your notebook, underlining that A-U, A-W, and A-L examples that make that aw sound. And our last column are words that have the vowel oi. And the oi sound can be spelled with the letters O-I or O-Y. Notice that oi contains two sounds. Again, these sounds are examples of diphthongs. Let's look at some examples. The first word is hoist, and I want you to underline the O-I. The second word is annoy, and I want you to underline the O-Y. And our final word is voyage, and I want you to underline the O-Y. All right, students, now you'll have time to practice blending and reading these lines out loud. At the end of each line, I want you to ask yourself, how are the vowel sounds the same? How are they different? And how are the spellings similar or different? Why do authors use literary elements when writing stories? How do these elements help you as a reader? Right now, students, we're going to watch a vocabulary video. And as you watch the video, I want you to pay attention to the examples. Note how the literary elements support the author's purpose for writing the text.
Check it out, yo. Yeah. Setting. That's like where it's going down. Could be the train compartment, a castle, or a town. Could be the Arctic winter, like to build a fire. The temperature's dropping, excitement's getting higher. Setting sets the scene, so the scene seems set. Could be an Italian restaurant where we met. Setting gives us the where and the when. Could be modern day, the future, or way back when. Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Plot is the action, the quest for satisfaction. What's going down, what's going to happen? 4 men at sea in an open boat, rowing and hoping that they can stay afloat. The plot, they had to make it to the beach, but the waves are big and the shore seems out of reach. Plot is a series of events like Lemony Snicket. It could be crazy, wild, or straight wicked. Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Knock, knock. Oh, it's the characters, the people in the story who carry out the action. Characters can be pretty tiny or clean. Characters can be silly, whiny, or mean. Juliet is a character and so is Romeo. Pokemon has characters and so does Yu-Gi-Oh! Characters can be dogs, lions, or hippos. J.K. Rowling told Harry Potter. Who knows? Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Put your snack back in your backpack, we're not finished. Something going wrong. That's the conflict, kids. A struggle in the plot. Now who's on top? Could be a fight for money like some robbers and cops. Could be an internal conflict, a struggle inside. Like I don't wanna tell the truth, but I don't ever wanna lie. Flick something in your eye, now you're conflicted. What created drama? The conflict did. Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. The theme of the story is the main idea, the central belief or the topic that's in there. It's usually something abstract like sacrifice, isolation, and resurrection. We back to life. Like don't lie, don't practice libel. The theme of To Build a Fire is survival. Survivor on your own like 5-0. Vocabulary, something that you have to get. Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting.
Let's take a look at today's reading objective. Our learning goal for today, I am learning to recognize and analyze plot elements in a story. All know I can do this when I can identify the plot elements in the text. I can explain the role each plot element has in developing the story. And you'll demonstrate your learning by analyzing and explaining the role plot elements have in developing a fictional story. Let's get started. Let's look at our focus questions for today. What conflict or problem does Mary have after she finds the key? In what way does the robin seem to try to help Mary? Why doesn't Mary understand what the robin is doing at first? As I reread pages 86 through 87 and think out loud, remember, I want you to listen for the steps that I'm taking and the questions that I ask myself to analyze the story structure. When I am done reading, we will revisit these questions. I'm going to pay extra attention to the key events I labeled yesterday that drive the plot. I'm also looking for a character or object that helps drive the main character toward the story's climax or resolution. Let's look back at paragraphs 1 and 2. Now, remember when I was reading the first page yesterday, I mainly read about the characters and the setting. I didn't label any key events, so I'm just going to move on. Let's reread paragraph 3. Mary skipped round all the gardens and round the orchard, resting every few minutes. At length, she went to her own special walk. She made up her mind to try to skip the whole length of it. It was a good long skip, and she began slowly. But before she had gone halfway down the path, she was so hot and breathless that she was obliged to stop. She did not mind much because she had already counted up to 30. She stopped with a little laugh of pleasure. There, lo and behold, was the robin swaying on a long branch of ivy. He had followed her, and he greeted her with a chirp. As Mary had skipped toward him, she felt something heavy in her pocket strike against her at each jump. When she saw the robin, she laughed again. In paragraph 3, I read that Mary felt something heavy in her pocket. This makes me feel suspense because I am wondering what is in her pocket. Could this be part of the conflict? I definitely need to read more to be sure. You showed me where the key was yesterday, she said. You ought to show me the door today, but I don't believe you know. In paragraph 4, I've learned that the robin showed Mary where the key was the day before, but didn't show her what it went to. I read that Mary joked with the robin that she didn't think it knew what the key went to. This is the conflict of the story. Mary has this key, but has no idea what it goes to. I'm going to underline the second sentence in paragraph 4 and label this as the conflict. Let's continue reading paragraph 5. The robin flew from his swinging spray of ivy onto the top of the wall, and he opened his beak and sang a loud, lovely trill, merely to show off. Nothing in the world is quite as adorably lovely as a robin when he shows off, and they are nearly always doing it. In this paragraph, I read that the robin sang a loud trill when it flew to the top of the wall. This must be part of the rising action. It's after the conflict, and it seems like the robin is sending Mary a message. I'm going to label this as a rising action event. Remember that the rising action may go on for a while until we reach the climax. Let's look at our second question. In what way does the robin seem to try to help Mary? Well, the robin is flying from a long branch of ivy and sits on top of the wall, singing loudly as if he's trying to get Mary's attention. And why doesn't Mary understand what the robin is doing at first? Well, she thinks the robin is showing off, rather than trying to show her where the door to the secret garden is. So far, there has been a character or object that is helping drive the main character toward the story's climax or resolution. The robin seems to be helping Mary by showing her what the key goes to. I'm going to write robin symbolism in my text because I think the robin might be helping drive Mary toward the climax. All right, scholars, let's stop and reflect for a moment and ask ourselves, what steps did I follow to analyze the story's plot? What questions did I ask myself as I was thinking? Remember, scholars, first we're going to label key events that are driving the plot. Then we will label the rising action, conflict, climax, falling action, and resolution. Then label any character or object that helps drive the main character toward the story's climax or resolution. Great job today. All right, guys, that wraps up today's 5th grade reading lesson. Keep reading. I will see you again next time. Bye.